Hi, I am Adam. You have found your way to From the Bottom Hope.
View from
View
the
from the
bottom.
Bottom Hope. We're
Just,
getting there.
it's just view from the
It's
bottom.
actually a perfect way to introduce the fact that we just want to talk about how we're wanting to change a little bit on this and go with it. And one of those changes needs to be a better introduction, I've learned. Right now, I'm learning it on the spot. So,
Yeah, you got
but
this.
no, I think we really wanted to address what we're actually doing here on this podcast, which the whole point of it is to kind of illuminate what this ministry is all about, which is Rock Bottom Hope. And I thought no other better person other than Danny himself, which isn't here, but the second best person to do that would be Josie. So take it away.
Take it away. So hi, everyone. My name is Josie. I know y'all have seen me here pretty regularly. I am the co-host here and actually the operations and marketing manager for Rock Bottom Hope. Like Adam mentioned, we realized, here we are and we're trying to figure out this whole new podcast thing and the direction that we wanted to head in. And we realized we haven't even actually talked about who exactly Rock Bottom Hope is, what we do, how we serve the community. And so Adam was talking to a family member, and this really kind of resonated with him, and I think he's completely right. So, Rock Bottom Hope, essentially, what we are, of course, is a nonprofit ministry. The biggest thing is to bring hope to the furthest heart, and so what that means is, like most of us that have been serving here with Rock Bottom Hope, we have all hit some really deep, dark rock bottoms, right? And so what we want to do is provide hope to the people who are struggling with addiction. And that's not necessarily just drug addiction. It's, sexual addiction. It's people who have hit a rock bottom because they have had a really hard life and they might be struggling emotionally, mentally, just all of these different areas of struggle. What we do is we will meet you there and we will help you with providing resources, whether it's, addiction recovery and helping you with getting into a recovery home, a treatment center. If the money is an issue, we will help you with scholarships to be able to find placement for you. We also walk alongside of parents who are dealing with addicts. We have some new staff actually on board right now. One of them is a hope dealer who's also, struggled with addiction, things of that sort. And eventually we'll be bringing her on so she can give her testimony. So that's one new direction that we're bringing it into. Another thing is we have a parent who has had a child who's come out of recovery, and he has been through it with him. He knows what it feels like to be trying to walk alongside of an addict, he knows what it looks like to be even having to kind of let go. One of the biggest things I think that we have learned from the parents is they struggle with enabling or not enabling and just letting go. Because one of the biggest things you have to remember is we all have to hit a rock bottom at some point to be able to come back up. And if you know that you have somebody there, right? Have someone that you can call and they can catch you before you completely fall, it's going to be really easy for you to continue to walk in that dark path because you know that there's somebody there. But if you hit that rock bottom and you reach out and they're not there, then it's just kind of like, oh. And it's like a rude awakening of like, something's got to change. I've got to make the call and come up with the will to want to make a difference, want to change my life and really live it out, or let it completely drown me. Right. And so, that's what we have another new member. And again, we'll be bringing him on the podcast as well to introduce himself and let him really tell his story of walking alongside of his child who was addicted, what that looks like, the different resources that he found that to help him get through this process and help him to just finally give it to God and say, my child is yours. And there's nothing I can do, but you can do it. And the other really great, exciting thing is we are bringing bilingual in. As you know, we are trying to grow in the Houston area, and Houston is a heavy Hispanic area, and it's a lot of Spanish speakers. And, here lately, of course, I've been the only staff member who speaks Spanish, and I can't do it all. I'd like to be able to try to, but I can't.
That's really the only reason we hired you, Josie. No, just being honest.
I accept that. Yeah. No, we're really excited about her. She too actually is a parent who has experienced having a child in addiction, and she had to learn through all of that too, what that looks like, what it means to let it go and give it to God. And so I'm excited for her too. I'm excited for her to get on this podcast and bring the Spanish twist to it. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually bring out my really broken Spanish. And
oh, we know who has a broken Spanish out of the two of us.
But you have an excuse, okay?
That's true.
Yeah, okay. I'm
So many
actually
good jokes.
yeah, so we're excited to bring her on board. But essentially, that is who we are, keeping it short and sweet. I want to be able to bring Danny in and actually have him really delve into all of that stuff. But I want us to like slowly creep in and just let everybody know, like, this is where we're at, and not overwhelm everyone with everything that we do.
Yeah. Very well said.
Thank you.
But
I try.
no, this is a topic that I feel pressed to like kind of to hone in on,
Right.
just because it's kind of been coming up this past week in different areas. But it made me think the only one that I'm comfortable with talking about right now would be my own family. Like when I was going through it, they just wanted to do anything to help, and really, man. It was enabling, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like I had a roof over my head. Like if you look at the what is it?
The hierarchy.
Hierarchy of need. Is that Maslow's? Is that what it is? Anyways, I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of need, right? I had food and I had shelter. So that doesn't drive somebody to pursue, the change, because I had the two things I really needed.
Right.
And that's tough. I can only imagine from a parent's point of view, really loving your kid and just being like, not being able to help the way we all feel like we would, like, I'm just going to keep pouring into them. And then one day they're going to snap. And it's like, the truth is, like, when it comes to, maybe in some areas, maybe with some kids, but like the truth is when it comes to drugs and alcohol, it's like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I was blessed that Jesus snapped me out of it, but and I love my parents. They raised me right. But I really, if it wasn't for God, I would have never been able to snap out the way I did. But
That's the hard part, though. Sorry to cut you
No, you're
off. It's funny, like when you were saying that, one of my biggest struggles is always like when I hear parents and, hey, luckily I had this, right? And it brought an emotion out in me. I was like, don't cry, Josie, don't cry. Because that's one of the hard parts is not all of us have our parents.
Yeah.
Not all of us have people praying for you and really just reaching and trying to pull you out of that, I mean, my upbringing was really, really hard, and I could do the woulda, coulda, shoulda of all of it, right? And I do sometimes, and it's a tough thing to kind of get myself through, to like pull myself back out of and be like, no, but God, moments. But yeah, I mean, like rock bottom looked very, very different for me than it did you. And I think that's why we have rock bottom hope and this podcast. It's like, we want other people to be able to not really compare, because comparison is the thief of joy. We all know that, right? But if this can bring home to some hope, I can't even speak to someone and say, hey, like that, I actually can resonate with that story, then we've done our job. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that's really essentially the whole hope behind this podcast itself is kind of really digging into our stories and letting the Lord lead our conversations and digging, right?
Yeah. I'm excited for the future, honestly, of this podcast and seeing where the Lord takes it, because there's so many people. Josie and I are blessed with being able to hear all these testimonies of just people from different walks of life, from different upbringings, from different family structures, all this stuff, and they express their hope or their rock bottom.
Right.
And it's like, you might be able to pick out just a little comparison as far as like, I understand that.
Yeah.
But the truth behind the whole foundation of it is there is hope. You know what I mean? And I think, especially with a lot of these addictions, they drudge on for so long that like you eventually, you've lost your hope, right? You're like, whether you're a believer or not, you're like, God, what are you doing? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
Why is this taking so long? And that is our job here at Rock Bottom Hope, is to be like, just keep pushing, to
Yeah.
encourage you guys to get involved, to call us, to reach out,
Yeah.
to not do it alone, really.
Right. Get off the boat.
Yeah.
Step out in faith, Like, I know when I was in my addictions, one of the things that first of all, I knew of God and I believed that a God existed. I wasn't brought up in it. My church life was a very complicated life and it was really super confusing.
Like a 5-episode conversation.
Oh my God, I know. But like, if I could dig into my rock bottom, it was, we haven't really gone into my testimony. I know that. And one day we'll actually dig into that more. But the part that I could share right now, speaking of a rock bottom and just kind of letting y'all know what we do is, I was a heavy drug addict at a very young age. I had a rough upbringing and, a part of, the area that I grew up in anyways, it was a heavy drug area, primarily crystal meth. And that was my drug of choice. And I really lost myself in it. And, my rock bottom in that one looked like me going out with a friend that I should not have been hanging out with. She was 20 years older than me. I was a young teen. And I remember, we were doing drugs and she handed me over the Pilo. And if y'all don't know what that is, I don't even want to get into it. But if you know, you know. And I remember she handed it to me. I thought I was doing crystal meth. Come to find out I was actually doing crack. And we were driving back home from there. I was over amping. I thought I was about to have a heart attack. And all I could think was, please don't let my mom find me like this. Please just throw me out of the van, throw me in a ditch. I'd rather them find me dead in a ditch than find me over amping in a hospital. Like, I'd rather be dead than caught here. And I think that was one of my lowest of lows, was just that like panic of like, oh my God, I'm actually about to die. Like, I really thought I was going to die that day. It was crazy. Like, still to this day, I can remember that whole moment. And, that view from the bottom moment there, it was just like, I don't want to die. Like, I don't want to die. Please don't let this be how I die. But if I do, like, I hope my mom doesn't find me. Like, I'd rather her think that I was a missing person than her find me over amped. On drugs. Like, that was tough. And we find so many people like that call us, but the biggest reminder to those people who call us in those moments is like, this isn't a moment of weakness. This is probably one of the strongest moments you're ever going to hit to say, oh my God, I'm at a really low and I need hope. Not just need hope, I want hope. And you're taking a step. That's huge. That's huge. I couldn't even do that. It took a God moment to get me out of that. But had I known a place like this existed, I can only hope and pray like that I would have done that I would have called and said, hey, I need help. I don't know. This is definitely a starting point, though.
Yeah. I mean, you really touched on it, but it comes down to like, you got to want it, though.
Yeah.
Because there's two different callers. There's the people calling for someone, and there's people calling for themselves.
Yeah.
Usually when the people calling for themselves, they want it, right? They don't know how to achieve it.
Right.
And I think that was where one of my struggles was. I wasn't willing to talk to anybody about it, but I needed help.
Right.
So that makes no sense. Like, I'm not willing to get help, but I needed it, and I knew I needed it. From the other point of view, which is like, parents calling in, they need help, whether they know it or not. They truly need help going through this process, because it's easy to hyper focus on, your loved ones.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, you're broken too.
Yeah.
It might be a different reason behind it.
Yeah.
But and that is the core of this mission. That's one of Danny's passions. And I I've never actually asked Danny on this one, which was, obviously with his story, and I'll let him tell it if it's not already up.
Oh, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Somewhere in his journey, though, he started recognizing the other side, which is the families or the parents or the friends that were reaching out, and he has a true passion for them as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when he first started, it was like, I need to help people just like me.
Right.
And then I think he probably found out very quickly, like, no, they're both sides of the coin.
Absolutely.
It'll be
I mean,
interesting.
it's difficult to be a parent on the other side, kind of watching your child do that. I can see why, as a parent, you want to nurture your children, right? You want to be that support and that love for them. And it's really hard to kind of pull that apart and say, hey, I'm just going to let my child possibly kill himself
Yeah.
and to hit a rock bottom. You know, like it's really hard. That's where your mind goes as a parent is like, if I let go and I stop being that phone call away, my child could die. But on the bright side of that is, but he might not. And if he doesn't, it's going to hit that scary moment for him too. I know it hit me where I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know, and then they take that step and they grow that will. And then they decide like, I want to live. And then they decide I need to do this and I need to do that. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day and they were like, well, I don't like that. If that's what you're telling them, like, well, what about the other side of it? And I'm like, we're not saying, hey, completely drop out of their life. It's saying put that boundary of like, you can't come home, but I can put you in a rehab. I can help you here. You can't come here, but you can go there. If you're willing to go here, let's talk. You know, and it's going to look different because, I mean, rock bottoms isn't always, like I said, addiction or anything like that. For some people, it's just there is such a thing as sex addiction. You know, there is such a thing as even financially feeling like you're not providing for your kids and you get in your head and you feel like you're at this rock bottom of like, oh my God, I'm just overwhelmed with these feelings, these emotions. And it causes depression and anxiety and all these other things. That is a rock bottom too. And it's a very real rock bottom.
You want to hear a story? I can
Of
say it because
course.
I don't
Let's
know the
go.
person's name. There was a law enforcement officer that one of my buddies knew. He was pretty close with him. But that same story, he got really bad cancer, and like they had treated, and, you know, the whole organization, they did it, but it was just financially destroying his family, and he had 2 young kids. Anyways, he got to the point where he unfortunately took his life. And like, so you're saying that since there wasn't drugs or alcohol, like he wasn't at rock bottom? Of course he was at rock bottom. You know, and it was a completely different situation.
Yeah.
And he needed to reach out. He needed a rock bottom hope.
Right.
His family needed that. You know, but unfortunately that's just not how that one played out.
Yeah.
But we're here to reach all of them.
All of
every scenario
Yeah.
that you can think of.
Yeah, it can look very different every single time.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the biggest thing is like, if at some point you feel like you're at a low, right? But you think that your low isn't low enough for you to have to call, you should probably call.
Yeah.
You should probably call.
It's not like it costs money.
No. I mean, that's true. It doesn't cost anything outside of maybe a little hit to your pride and your ego.
Yeah, it's anonymous.
And I was about to say,
I don't know. I mean,
it is, but I mean, it's a true thing. You know, there's a lot of people that their pride and their ego are way too big to say, I'm going to reach out. That was probably one of my problems too when I was younger and I was high out of my mind. I was like, I don't want to accept the fact that I'm a very broken person and I need help. Like, that's a tough thing to say. Like, I need help. It kind of grosses me out to even say it right now. But every day I need help. You know, even as a Christian, you know, and living a better life than I did back then, I still need help every single day, mentally, physically, emotionally. I mean, I'm never going to be doing too good to ever feel like I don't need help. I'm always going to need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're walking a Christian life and you think that like, oh, I didn't have to like, you know, press into the battle today. It's like you lost the battle then. You know, if you there was somewhere in the deep recesses of your mind that you were fighting that day. I mean, it just looks different.
Yeah.
But we're all struggling.
I actually
with
agree
things.
with that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I like that. That was good. Good job, Adam. Yes, I know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad we got on this topic though.
Yeah, no, me too. I know that it was heavy out there, and in your last conversations. And I do agree. I feel like people who are watching this also need to know and understand we're not just doing this because we want to be in front of the camera, because that we definitely probably don't. I think both of us are probably a little uncomfortable with that part. It's all about just, we want everyone to know and remember that they're not alone. There are other people out there struggling with very similar things, but there is also help. And there are resources outside of Rock Bottom Hope. There are so many other resources out there. But if we can be one of them for you, we want to be one of them for you. We want to help however we can. We want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We want to be used. And I mean, we love you and we don't even know you. Know that. We love you and we don't even know you. And we want to help however we can. Ultimately, I think that's where it's at. I see that smile on your face. What's that?
I was thinking of the conversation. That was such a good message. I don't want to ruin it with my joke, but
Ruin it, dude. Come on, let's go.
You were saying something, and like I had to fight a crowd to come in here today. Like it was rough.
Oh yeah, I know. You
I
even
was
give away a
telling him,
shirt for that.
The guy running the cameras, he's like, "Wow, how'd you get through that crowd?" And I was like, "Listen,
I don't know.
Jesus.
I heard the ruckus. I heard.
Dangerous."
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just so that y'all understand where this joke is coming from, he got here just a little bit late and had to literally run through the parking lot without a shirt on to put on his his Hope Dealer shirt.
Hey, you like
Hope
it though?
Dealer, baby. And he came
You did a
in
graphic
making
on
that
that?
joke. Yeah, Hope Dealers, which actually that's another thing we do offer. So if y'all want one, there is a store online. You can always go on there and purchase them. Not trying to sell, or anything like that. But I know we get asked about those shirts all the time. I mean, they're cool shirts. What can I say? So if y'all want one, like
They're
they
really
are available.
comfortable.
You can go online and purchase one. We'll be updating some of the stuff on there too, because I know we do get new styles and colors, so that'll go on there.
I'm actually shocked at how many people have actually mentioned something like strangers. I'm not talking about people I know.
Yeah.
Like I've had people like, nice shirt. Where do you get that? And like, I know we're working on the website. We're everything is developing at this point.
Yeah.
So bear with us as we go through this process. But yeah, people love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of catchy. Hope Dealer. I mean,
Once
yeah.
it clicks in their head, like
Yeah.
where it comes from.
Yeah. I know actually one of our who was it? One of our new volunteers, he had mentioned wanting to get like a sticker for the back of the car that says like, he had mentioned something else, but I started using that and I was like, you know what? I think that's a great idea. But instead of, he wanted the Rock Bottom Hope Mountains. And I thought, how about instead doing like Hope Dealer? Because he was kind of comparing it to another sticker that's really popular in this area that I'm not going to say because I'm not trying to promote other businesses. But that one's really popular around here. And I was like, that would be really cool to put that out there and see what that does. You know what I mean? See how many lookups and stuff that we get of like, yeah, Hope Dealer.
Just put a QR tag on it. That's what everybody does.
Or a hashtag.
Hashtag? Do people hashtag?
People hashtag everything.
I don't think people hashtag.
Yeah,
anymore.
they do. Even we got a young girl here, okay, and she's nodding.
All right. Well, they hashtag.
I know we're old, but they hashtag and they at everything for their tag names and stuff. So hashtag and ats. I don't know if they call it at. I just know it's an at sign. So
Yeah. Well, they can't make eye contact. So you know what? I win.
that's true. I actually,
all I get
I'm
about
gonna give you that one because
As like I've drifted off this whole time, not making eye contact.
hey, it's all good. It's all good. Do you have anything else that you wanted to kind of dig into while we're doing all this? I know that you had some questions and stuff about the ministry. Is there anything else that you think you want to kind of blanket this with before we end it?
No. I think we wrapped up. A good summary, quick
Yeah.
summary.
Good.
There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
But it really is. If you're watching this or know somebody that's watching or that could watch this, send it to them and just tell them to reach out.
Yeah. Remind them that there's hope.
And we'll get into that. We were talking before all this, and we can't go into the full discussion because of
That's
time.
okay.
But like, it was about divine appointments and like God puts things in our path for a very specific reason. He puts people in our path. He puts a podcast in your path. He puts, a stranger on the side of the road for a reason.
Right.
And if it clicks in your, if you can just feel the Spirit moving, like listen to it. You know what I mean?
True.
Like it more often than not, that's God, one of God's many ways of speaking to you.
Yeah.
And like, at least put it in your Rolodex
Yeah.
or what's the new age way of saying that?
I'm going to keep that because I don't know. I don't speak
What's
the
the
new
new age
language.
She doesn't even know what a Rolodex is.
Yes,
But
you
anyways,
really.
we'll have
It's all good.
rock bottom hope educations after this.
Yeah, we're going to have to do like a keeping up with the times thing where we
But yeah,
understand the
honestly,
new language.
reach out. Don't take this conversation
Yeah.
as a nothing. You never know how
Yeah.
the Lord's going to use it.
Yeah. And so if you're wondering how to reach out, so we do have the Hope line, 877-423-HOPE. You can also go online to www.rockbottomhope.org /contact us. If you're feeling led to want to donate to the ministry, you can do, there's a donation tab in the website that you can also donate to. But yeah, ultimately, don't be afraid. Don't let your pride and ego get in the way. Like, honestly, really reach out. That's what we're here for. We're here to walk alongside of you, mentor you if you need mentorship, pray for you if you want to be prayed over, whatever it is. Like, we want to help you try to meet the need the best we can and provide the resources if it's not a need that we can meet. But yeah, I think that's a wrap, right?
That's wrap.
Yeah. Well, we're excited that we got to do this again. We'll see you again soon at View from the Bottom.
Love you. Chicky, chicky.